Alright, for my Stamina NIghtblade build, it's pretty strong. You're running 1 bar set here. We're going to go in with 1800 magic recovery, 1400 health recovery, and 2400 stamina recovery. This is with the potion up, by the way. We have 1500 weapon damage, 34% crit, 12k pen, 22k resistances, 1500 crit resist, 30k max health, 24k stamina, and 15k magicka. Alright, we put all our points into stamina because we already had a 30k cap, so we don't need any points into health with this setup. Without a potion on, we have 1400 magic recovery, 1100 health recovery, and 2000 stamina recovery. For our minus one, we are running the serpent, and we are running smoke bear haunch, and we also are running tripods with this build. These are my advanced stats if you are wondering what they look like. My crit damage is 36%. Alright, let's get right into our sets. For our sets, we're going to be running Stuns. I chose Stuns because it's one of the highest damaging sets in the game. You can't get really any more damage from a set than Stuns. Stuns just does an insane amount of damage. Because that 5-piece gives you 5k pen when you set an enemy off balance, which is relatively easy to achieve with surprise attack, since it does set them off balance while flanking them. So you can basically almost have 100% uptime on this, which is massive damage. Plus the 2, 3, 4 piece are insane. And then for others that we're running Cauldrons. Cauldron is nuts because when you deal damage with a light attack, when it crits, it has to crit, or a heavy attack, you deal 14 flame damage, 14 frost damage, 14 shock, or 14 disease damage. It doesn't proc all these at once, it's either or. And then afterwards it applies the respective status effect to which one procced. You get double crit and you get 1 weapon damage, so pretty good 2, 3, 4 once again. This adds an insane amount of burst damage to our build. And then for our ring, we're on Oaken Soul Ring. This is the new ring that came out with the patch. This ring is super overpowered and it's probably going to get nerfed, so you should take advantage while you can. It allows you to it gives you so many passives and just allows you to truly shine on just 1 bar. Especially certain classes like Nightblade really make use of this really well. And then for our weapons, we're running dual maces with sharpen, since that gives us the most overall damage. If you want to do max damage, you run maces with sharpen. If you want some more healing, you can run double swords here with nerd hone. That will give you more healing but less overall damage. Then we're running increased weapon damage on both. I do recommend running poisons. I don't run poisons, so I don't know what poisons are objectively good right now. But I do know poisons are really strong. You can also run escapist potions, since on this build we are not running anyway to get rid of snares. That is another option if you want to run that. For a 1-piece monster set, we're running this. This gives us double sustain, and that is the reason why we're running it. Very strong, gives us extra recovery since we're pulling from both our magicka and stamina pools respectively. This is very useful to have. We're running all prismatic glyphs. You do not have to run all prismatic glyphs if you don't want to. I definitely would recommend them on the big pieces though, so like the helmet, chest, and legs. For our traits, we're running all well fitted on the boots, waist, arms, and shoulders. All well fitted here. And then we're running impen on the helmet and leg. And for our chest, we're running a heavy chest that is reinforced. And we are also running heavy chest, head, and legs, and light waist. This gives us the overall maximum amount of armor we can get, which gives us the max amount of damage reduction. For our skills, we are running Merciless Resolve. We're running this because it does overall more damage, and we want to be pulling from our magic pool more, so this is just better overall. Then Refreshing Path, that gives us Major Expedition and gives us a nutty little heal. Vigor, nothing else to be said here. Amazing heal. Surprise Attack, main damaging ability. And then Shadowy Disguise as our cloak. Strike, very strong, gives us a bunch of damage. Our flexibility for this build will be Refreshing Path. You can run Reaper's Mark for extra pen. Shadow Image for some extra flashiness. You can even run Shrewd Offering for a more direct heal. You want to go that route instead. You don't need extra sustain on this build. I generally never run out of sustain, and you don't need any way to apply your major brutality, since the ring gives you that, by the way. That's pretty important, I should mention. For a race, we are running Orc. I just like Orc as personally my favorite race to run in the game. That's just because of this passive right here, which allows me to run faster. You know, you gotta go fast in this game, and that's what this class allows you to do. Imperial would be really good since 4k max stats, and it gives you some nice cost reduction, which just gives you more sustain. Wood Elf would be fine. Nord for extra tankiness, if you want to go that route. You don't really need the ult regen on Nord since you get major heroism with the ring, which is very broken and whatnot. And we're running 4 medium, 3 heavy with this setup, so we get all these passives right here. And then we get, you know, the heavy passives. Let's get them all. We need all that good stuff. Get majority of your Nightblade passive. You don't need these three: Magic Flood, Soul Siphon, or Transfer, since we're using none of the siphoning abilities, unless you choose to run Shrewd Offering. But you must have is Catalyst. Very strong passive. Definitely a must have. Shadow, I would get majority of these. Crushing Shadows increases your sustain. Very useful. More pen when you're flanking them. Not the most useful, but just get it. We get the weapon and spell crit. And then increase the crit down by 10%. Very strong, since this build does have a decent amount of crit. I think 35% is pretty good. Let's go right on to our CP now. For our CP, I am running Exploiter, Backstabber, Master at Arms, and Deadly Aim. These increases my damage done with my abilities. This one deals more damage off balanced enemies. 10% is a lot. Very strong CP passive, in my opinion, one of the strongest. And then Backstabber. This is my flex CP ability. If you don't run this one, completely fine. Just change it out with something you like. A good option could be Swift Renewal for more healing over time, since we're running 2 dots. You can run Fighting Finesse. You gotta run Resilient here for some extra critical resistance. Or you can run one of these 3: Duelist Rebuff, Enduring Resolve, and Unsustainable for some extra tankiness. Get all your CP passes, of course, and whatnot. Make sure you get all these. Very strong and very useful. On to our red tree now. For our red passives, we are running this passive, and this passive. And then we are running Survival Instincts. This is the most important one to get. I would get this as soon as possible if you're running a CP and you're not a high CP. This one is nuts. Gives you so much sustain and is a must-have in my opinion. I would get the rush to this first no matter what. I would grab these 2 passives here and then rush here. This one's strong for sustain, more tankiness. Fortify is probably the second most important one. Max health, very useful as well. This is probably the flex one. Since you already have 30k, you can definitely drop this if you don't want it for something more like Harden or Juggernaut. You don't want to be an extra tankier boy, thick boy, and whatnot. I would grab Defiance, Tumbling, Hero's Vigor, and then I think those are the most useful ones. This one's pretty decent. More Vinci Sprinting, always very nice. And then this one right here, Master Tenacity, reduces the status effect applied to you by 5% per stage. This one you could put less points into so you get more value out of Survival Instinct, but I think it's still good to have this in here so that it gets off quicker, since most of the time you're going to be having a status effect on you no matter what, so you probably want to get them off as fast as possible anyways. This will have a very high uptime no matter what. Very broken CP passive. And then for our green tree, the green tree doesn't really matter. The only one that sticks out to me is Liquid Efficiency. Whenever you drink a potion or use a poison, you have a 10% chance not to consume it. Just save some extra money, you know. Or War Mount. This is another good one, but this is outside of combat. Alright, and then the way you want to generally play the build is you want to start off by proccing Merciless Resolve here. Go into Cloak, look for a medium weave, surprise attack. Does a bunch of damage. Set them off balance. Here. See, attacking a surprise attack from the flank, stun the enemy for 3 seconds and sets them off balance. Very useful. Let's proc our stuns right off the bat. And then while we auto attack, if our attack crits, we proc Cauldrons here. Does 15k, bunch of damage. Plus surprise attack does 11k. Merciless does 22k. So overall that's 10, 30 plus 15. We'll round that to 20. So we're doing 50,000. And then in cap hits. That's about 70,000 overall damage in a relatively quick succession. And approximately simple. You also get major heroism with the ring. So I would just recommend spamming your ults as much as possible, since you'll have a very high uptime on it. So don't save your ult. Set up to use it generally off cooldown, since you will have it up very frequently with this build, since you're going to be auto weaving a lot. With Refreshing Path and Vigor, you just want to make sure you have Refreshing Path down the whole time you're fighting. You pop Vigor. If you are taking a lot of pressure, just roll around in your Refreshing Path. Go for 3 rolls generally, 4 if you really have to. Never go for your 5th roll. After those rolls, you want to either block, and if you can't get away by then, LOS, and use your cloak. After you use your rolls, and then you're going to spam cloak since we have so much magic and sustain. As you can see here, I can almost infinitely cloak, which will allow my stamina bar to refill, and then I can re-engage the fight. You get a lot of damage reduction with the ring, so you don't have to generally worry about dying. You just generally face tank, auto attacks, surprise attack spam. And then when you have the opportunity, go for the in-cap merciless combo and auto attack. You can do a bunch of burst damage right off the rip. So with that, that's pretty much the build. I hope you guys do enjoy. ESO has gone pay to win with this ring. It is pretty nutty. Probably will get nerfed soon, so you should abuse it while you can. And I hope you guys enjoyed.